What is up, everybody? It's Marshall Couture, also known as Plex of MarshallMakesArt.com and DonkeyJawProjects.com. And also known as Plex. And yeah, I'm totally messing this up. So this is 100 days of making comics. And today is day, I don't know what, 52 or something like that. I know I hit 50 recently, and yeah, so this might be 53 because I think that was on Friday. Today's Monday. So I guess I'll give it a little recap or whatever of what happened during the weekend. I did, work on my comic. But lately, I haven't been like spending specifically extra time on my comic on the weekends like I would normally expect, because when I have time, which is on the weekends, sometimes I need to get other things done, and I have other art goals and stuff. And one of the things was I really needed to get a pinup done for Mr. Chris McQuinlan's Nevermorrow comic, which is doing the Kickstarter right now. If you haven't backed it, go back it. There's only like 8 or 9 days left or something, so hit that up. Let's hit all those stretch goals, and the link is in the description. It always is. So I'm excited about that. That came out better than I kind of got tired of the design after a while, because I had the design idea earlier in the month, but then I totally just couldn't get it done because I wanted to record the video of it as I was doing it, so I could make a video and have that promote the Kickstarter too. And just it's good to I want to make more art videos and stuff with me actually doing art and stuff. So I was struggling with my camera setup, and then I ended up deciding to change my whole overhead camera setup, which hopefully there'll be a video about in the near future, but I keep trying to upload it, and for some reason my iMovie doesn't want to do it, so I got to figure out a way to get those videos up. But anyways, and I don't know, it's like I've been having a hard time. Like, I finally got the overhead camera mount thing working, and now I'm having a hard time just uploading the videos because for some reason it keeps failing. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. But let's see. So yeah, I kind of got tired of the design that I had, but I went with it anyways. And like halfway through, I was like, or part of the way through, I was like, I'm not sure if this is gonna come out good. I ended up making part of it grayed out. I used like my gray Copic markers, and I wasn't gonna do any of that. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do any of that, I should say. And then I did it, and it was like, once I did it, I had to do it with everything. And then I was like, oh man, am I gonna overdo it now with the gray markers? I only have 3. I pretty much went through all the ink in one of my Copics. Actually, it's not Copic, it's Stick Blick brand, but still, whatever, that's fine with me. I just wanted to make sure I got it done and it didn't look stupid. So I got it done, and I think it came out pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised with the overall, the way it hit you. It looks pretty good, I think. But there's details that I kind of wish I did better, but it is what it is. I don't do this kind of thing very often, so I'm glad I was able to get it done within a good amount of time so that it could help promote. And I do like how it came out. I think you guys will dig it, and I think Chris said that he's gonna put it out there so people could see it. He was very happy with it. So, you know, you guys will see it soon. And then I'll post, after he posts it, I'll probably post it on my individual, you know, social media stuff. Which, if you're wondering where it is, Marsh Makes Art everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, all that stuff. That's where I am. That's where I is. So anyways, guess I'm blabbing a lot in this, but I guess I got a lot to say. It's been 3 days since I've done, you know, talked to you guys on the 100 Days of Making Comics. And if you don't know, I'm working on my comic 12 Stories, which is a book where it takes place with people who live in a 12-story apartment building, and on each story is going to be an individual actual story to read, about a 5-page comic story. So today I was, actually a lot this weekend. Well, let me go into what I did this weekend. I did more writing on the Happy-Go-Lucky story that I was telling you guys about in the last episode, which ended up being 7 instead of 8 because it's kind of a continuation of, or like part of one of the other stories. So, you know, to be fair and make it an actual 12-story book, you know, I didn't want to like cheat people and be like, oh, well, this is another story, even though it's about the same guy. So, you know, now, you know, so I wrote some of that, kind of had a little bit of struggle, but I got a good like 45 minutes in, and, you know, it's been tough. I've been kind of trying to break through, like, I guess writer's block or something. I kind of, in the day, I guess Sunday, I did another monster for Attack of the Lizard Brain. So that was like one of those days where, you know, I didn't feel like writing, or I didn't have a chance to really write. So anyways, I've been kind of struggling, feeling a little bit like to the point where it's like, you know, I went in over my head by accident, you know, and I've talked about this already, but like I kind of felt like, you know, I'm trying to do this comic, and it's supposed to be kind of a simple, like, fun exercise to learn how to write stories and to play around with different styles of making comics and just get better at drawing comics and better at drawing in general and get better at story writing. And so it's not supposed to be a big pressure thing. But then, you know, some of these one of the stories, you know, started connecting, which I wanted to do, but I still didn't want it to be super, you know, stressful or anything, or overwhelming. But now it's you know, it seemed like, I don't know, for some reason it got bigger still. Somehow it got bigger than I really had expected, you know, to get. And I think one of the big reasons why I feel that way is because it eventually I came to, well, when I first initially thought of doing it, I wanted to like release each 5-page story as I go. So it was like I was doing little 5-page chunks, so it seemed like, okay, that's a way I can learn, still create something cool, but still let it be like little mini stories and very much non-overwhelming, you know, because it's like, oh, it's just little 5-page chunks, and, you know, I should be able to get it done, and it shouldn't be a big deal. But then I went and decided to get it all written, like have a full written script of the whole story, or all 12 stories, before I started in on the next stage, which, you know, really is going to be more rewriting and stuff like that. And then, you know, eventually it'll get to thumbnails, and like I'm taking each stage as one thing. So when I do the penciling, I'm going to do all the penciling first for the whole book, and then when I do the inking, I'm going to do the whole inking for the whole book. Although that part might change. If there's any part where I'm gonna split up, where I'm gonna like go back and forth, it might be that. But I don't know, maybe not. We'll see. Because the thing is I might even use different mediums for different stories to get different feels. So that might change. We'll see, though. I might not do different mediums. I don't know. That being said, I was starting to get a little frustrated, a little bit like, man, I didn't want this to be a big project. I wanted this to be just something that I was learning from, which I am, regardless of how the scope and the scale of it is. But you know, so I was getting a little bit like, I almost wish I could switch to something different that's a little easier for now. But when I think of that, I think I feel like I would never get back to it, maybe, or I just feel like it would just be hanging over my head, I guess. So I don't know, that's kind of how I was feeling earlier today. But there's no need to fear. I got rejuvenated a little bit. Because when I sat down to write, it was like, okay, here we go. I don't even know what to write, because I don't know like what the theme of this particular story I'm doing right now is, or like where is it going. And I was a little frustrated with that. But I had a little more time than a half an hour to kind of work on it, sort of. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna start. What I'm gonna use this time for is like, let's see if I can figure out where this thing is heading. This particular story that connects with another part of the story and another part of the book, and so I did. I sat down and I was eating lunch and I was just trying to figure it out, and I came up with the idea that I was gonna do and how it's all gonna connect. And basically this happy-go-lucky story is gonna be part one, or like the first chapter, but like there's only really 2 chapters, but it's gonna be like part 1, and it's gonna be the first story after the, I guess, prologue, because there's gonna be like a little intro thing, and then this is gonna be like the first official story of the 12 stories, which is gonna, like, at the end of this story, it's gonna say to be continued, and then at the very end it's gonna continue. Which for you guys might be a little bit of a spoiler. If I don't know, let me think. Like, maybe I won't put to be continued, I don't know, but I kind of want to. That's like, seems like the way to connect it. Maybe I'll just, in my mind, it'll be to be continued, and then like everybody else will figure it out later. But it's a little bit of a spoiler if you know that what is happening in the beginning of the book is going to continue in the end of the book. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of stuff I've been vague about because I don't want the overarching story to be spoiled. That all being said, I was excited though, because I figured out what the point of this story is, and it's something that I think is doable in 5 pages, which I'm happy about as well. And it's something that I figured out kind of makes a lot of sense, and just, I don't know, I just feel so much better about the overall story and how it's all going to connect throughout the whole book, because of what I figured out today. And when I embarked on this story, I realized, crap, now I'm still on story 7, you know, and I want to be on, you know, thought I was going to story 8, but whatever, like that whole thing. But today I figured out story 8. So not only did I figure out what this particular story is all about, but I figured out another story, like the beginning of another story. And then the rest, I'm still gonna be like making a lot of stuff up. I have to make new stories up because the ones I already kind of made up to start and that I wanted to develop more, I don't really like any of the other ones. So I think I'm gonna, from here on out, it's gonna be like right fresh from my mind. which means that's about, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 stories left after I finish the 8th story. But I already have the idea in my mind for the 8th story, so I'm glad about that. So I don't have to figure out 4 more stories, technically. But I still have to write. You know, I have a lot of writing to do on all the stories. So anyways, and this story is going to be called Father of Lies. Well, I don't know, it might not, because is there a song called Father of Lies, like back in the 90s, or is that just like the words to a song, like in the grunge era? I'm not sure. I feel like I remember those words, Father of Lies, or something like that. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to look that up. So it might be called Father of Lies. If it's not called Father of Lies, that's okay. Because I'm sure I can come up with another name. The theme is, you know, very open to names, I guess, in my mind. So I'm excited. It's a really cool idea. It actually connects with one of the previous ideas I had, which, you know, I thought I wasn't going to end up doing. So that makes me happy for some reason. I don't know why. And not only that, but the character in Father of Lies, I realized, is a very natural antagonist for my main character for the whole overarching story. So that's going to be interesting how that all ties in. And also, something that I'm very excited about is I figured out a natural way for me to integrate some of my thoughts on my faith and stuff, which, if you ever listen to my music, it's very heavily, like, there's a lot of stuff with my faith in it. But with comics and writing, I haven't really introduced it yet. And, you know, I know some people might be like, oh boy, here we go. I'm not gonna... The thing is every time I try to do it with writing, I feel like I'm becoming too preachy, or it just doesn't feel natural. And that's why I'm happy I figured this out, because this seems natural. It doesn't seem like I'm forcing anything. It doesn't seem like I'm preaching at anybody. It just seems like this aspect is a part of the story, and it makes sense, and I think it's interesting, and I'm just really happy that I was able to figure that out. So I'm thanking God, actually, that he helped me with the inspiration and all that. But so that being said, but don't worry, like, it's gonna, like, if you're not into like faith stuff, trust me, it's not gonna be preachy. It's just gonna be like any story. There's gonna be a lot of interesting elements, and it's not gonna be like, you know, we're gonna lead you guys to Jesus Christ through this, you know, thing, which, you know, I that's what I believe. I do believe in, like, the gospel and all that. You know, and I do, you know, I believe in all that stuff, but, you know, I don't want you to think it's gonna be like this, you know, weird thing, because it's not. It's just gonna be some really cool stories, and there's a faith element involved. So I'm just happy about that. And it's like really it's like natural. It's not weird or anything. So that's cool. And let's see what else. I guess that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say. And I don't know how long this thing's gonna record anyways, so I better close it out. So yeah, that's today for 100 Days of Making Comics. I really appreciate you guys watching and listening and, you know, checking my stuff out. You guys rock, you guys and gals. Hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful Monday. If you want to find my stuff, marshmakesart.com, donkeydrawprojects.com. I'm marshmakesart everywhere. And I'm gonna get to my second job right now. Hope you guys are doing well. I'll talk to you on the next episode. Peace out.